Episodes 1 and 2 build Shaula as something dangerous. No face nor name, just a beam of light hitting Subaru from a distance he couldn't calculate, over and over again. And then underground, you hear that voice, saying found you, like she had been hunting him the whole time. So when episode 4 arrived and she ran up to Subaru and completely lost it with that goofball energy and calling him master, my first reaction was that it is a funny character. The contrast was just too sharp, but I didn't clock something immediately. She hit one of the tower's rules from Subaru on purpose. Not because the contract required silence, but because if he knew it, he could leave faster. And obviously, she didn't want him to leave. She waited 400 years for her master to come back. And when someone arrived who smelled like him, she hid information to make him stay longer. And that's not really a goofball move if you ask me. Drop your theories below. No manga spoilers, I want to figure this out alongside you. Okay, so Shaula is a witch beast, created by Daphne, the witch of gluttony, and given to the sage Flugel as his apprentice. She helped seal Satea 400 years ago. Flugel gave her all the credit for what he had done, for reasons the anime hasn't explained, and then left her at the tower. He never came back. So she's been there for 4 centuries, alone, attacking anyone who approached because the contract required it. Waiting. And then Subaru walks in carrying Flugel's scent. She can't tell people apart by sight, only smell. So from her perspective, her master just came home. Right. The goofball energy makes complete sense once you understand that. It's not fake, it's what 400 years of waiting looks like when it finally ends. The excitement is real, the attachment is real, and the calculation underneath, hiding the fifth rule so he stays longer, is also real. All of it at once, because she was built that way. But here's what the contract actually requires. If anyone damages the tower or breaks its rules, Shaula transforms. And not by choice. The contract activates and she becomes the Crimson Scorpion, a colossal killing machine. She loses her own will entirely, and the person disappears when the code takes over. Echidna figured this out just by watching her with one convo. And here is where it gets interesting. The sniping in episode 1 and 2, that's the code executing its function. Keep people away from the tower. The welcome in episode 4, that's the person underneath, the apprentice who waited 400 years. The sniping is what the contract requires, the goofball is what she actually gets to be. And then, the scene after Subaru read Meili's book, Amelia panicked and Beatrice worried. Shaula just watched, calm, and not because she didn't care, but because she already knew. She had handled Meili's body quietly while everyone else was occupied. She saw what happened and said nothing, just reacted to the reaction of Subaru after reading that book. That's someone who understands more than she lets on, and chooses very carefully what to do with that understanding. Finally, she hit the fifth rule. The fifth rule of the tower is that destroying the trials isn't forbidden. If Subaru had known that from the start, the group could have moved through significantly faster. Shaula knew and said nothing. Again, not because the contract required it, but because if he knew, he would have left sooner. I don't fully know how to explain why that hit me as hard as it did, but something about it just gets to me. She had been waiting 400 years. She wasn't ready for that to end. I think that makes sense. Both moves come from the same place. The sniping before he entered and the hidden rule once he was inside. The master never came back, and something created to serve a master, left alone for 4 centuries, will do whatever the situation allows to make the wait feel like it mattered. And the raid moment is worth sitting with. She froze when she saw him. The entity that sniped Subaru from a kilometer away, that has been guarding this tower alone for 4 centuries, completely locked up the moment Raid appeared. I don't know if that was genuine fear or something else. But either way, it tells you there is a history there the show hasn't fully shown yet. Kind of like how you'd act if the person you had been waiting for finally showed up. You wouldn't lead with everything you are, you would just be glad they were there. So was Shaula ever just a goofball? No, but the goofball was never fake either. She's someone who was created. given purpose, left alone for 4 centuries, and then met the person she had been waiting for. The energy and the attachment and the hidden rule, all of it comes from the same place. The most honest version of her is the one who watched Subaru come back traumatized from Meili's book and said nothing, because she already knew, and she knew that she would handle it. And she just stood there watching and said nothing. Because saying something would mean acknowledging that the master she found might not be the master she lost. The recapture arc starts in August. I think we have been underestimating her from episode 4, and I'm interested what are your thoughts on Shaula. So please drop your read below, and if you want the full breakdown of what the tower was doing to Subaru psychologically across the Lost Arc, that video will be linked on the screen as well as all my videos and a playlist for ReZero. Thank you so much for the support you've been giving me across all ReZero videos, and also my thanks goes to everybody who takes time to write a comment and let me know what I'm doing well and maybe what I could improve. I'm reading all of it and I'm always working on it. So thank you so much for any sort of feedback. It really means the world to me that you take time out of your day to comment down below and share your thoughts. I know that you could just scroll past, so I want you to know that I really appreciate your support and the time you take to write a comment. Thank you once more, and I'll see you soon.